What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and it's the Philly Tall Podcast, and we are back with the second live stream of the day. We talk training camp and some other stuff, even making fun of the Cowboys in stream one. Now we got breaking news. As Tom Pelissero said, the Eagles are signing veteran defensive end Obi Obaraku. Yes, we talked about this 3 weeks. If you watch the videos, shout out to everybody who watches the lives, videos, and shorts. But 3 weeks ago, when Adam Schefter reported that he was being released by the Browns, I thought he made sense as a depth piece. We're going to talk about all that. Let's wait till some people get in here. However, I'm going to play the clip from 3 weeks ago in a previous video. For those who remember, if you know, you know. Moving on to some interesting NFL news, Adam Schefter tweeted that the Browns released defensive end Agbo Akranakwo, if I'm saying it right. His nickname is Obi, so we gonna call him Obi. Anyways, he's been in the league for 6 years, played 3 years with the Rams, 1 year with the Texans, and the last 2 years with the Cleveland Browns. He just turned 30 in April and could be a very cheap veteran option for the Eagles to bring in during training camp to see how he competes with the rest of the defensive ends on the team. Now, we're not talking a starting position at all. He's been a backup player everywhere he's played, but as a rotational piece, he's been solid. 4.5 sacks in 2023 and 3 sacks in 2024, again, off the bench. By no means am I saying we got to go pick this guy up. However, Howie Roseman does like to add competition in July and August, and all we're talking about is competition and a possible depth piece. That is all. Mind you, he's probably dirt cheap. As for edge rushers, I'm perfectly fine with the guys we have. Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt as the two starters, with Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche coming off the bench to rotate in and play crucial snaps. However, who is behind them for? What happens if we have an injury? Last year, BG missed time, and so did Bryce Huff. That's two pass rushers who missed time. If something similar happens, not saying season ending, but missed time, you're going to need a little bit more depth than just Azeez Ojulari and Joshua Uche. So again, we're talking about cheap depth who's been in the league a while and knows his role, a rotation bench piece that comes in if necessary. I mean, I said that 3 weeks ago, and I still firmly believe it today with the Eagles signing Obi to probably a 1 year dirt cheap deal. We were just on here talking about the possible sneaky signing UFL D tackle who beat out Joe Evans and Leonard Payne to get a shot at Eagles training camp. This is a guy I literally wanted 3 weeks ago. He had 3 sacks last year, 4.5 sacks in 2023. That's 7.5 sacks in 2 seasons off the bench. He's not coming here to challenge Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt or even Azeez and Uche. Really, if Azeez and Uche live up to what we think they can, they're going to be contributors. This guy's played on the Rams behind a good defensive line, came in with some solid play when need to. Same with the Browns. Same with the Browns. When Myles Garrett was hurt, he filled in. Did he play all-star? No. And one thing about him is he's a really decent run defender. 7.5 sacks in 2 seasons, not going to jump off the charts, but he plays the run well. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams as a rotational piece, right? Think about this. Thomas Booker got a ring with the Eagles. There are depth pieces on the Eagles that got rings, but that experience helped them. Thomas Booker was suited up on the sideline in the Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl champion with the Rams when they beat the Bengals in 2021, I think it was. Championship pedigree. He's been solid all throughout his career as it pertains to coming in and playing his role. He's not trying to be the hero. This is a solid signing. I said in last stream, And on that clip, I believe in Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith as the starters with Azeez Ojulari and Uche off the bench. I believe in that. However, what if injury happens? Not season ending, but something light. You need to have depth. We have more D tackles on the roster than edge rushers. So if we needed a spot anywhere, it's edge rusher. Now, shout out to Lord Vaughn, and I agree. Corners is most needed, I believe. Nolan Jalix, and they already have decent backups. But again, last year, Bryce Huff and BG got hurt, which let us learn about Jalix Hunt even more. But if you take two guys off the roster now for even a 4 or 5 game sample size, who's there then? Now you're talking about our backups as starters with no backups after that. So you still needed depth. I agree. You can always use corners in this league. I'm a believer in Keely Ringo. Dory Jackson filled in with the Giants decently, not as a starter, but as a backup fill-in piece. Dory Jackson was decent. And mind you, when you play for a better defense in general, you probably play a little better. This guy's 30 years old, knows his role. He's the 5th pass rusher on this team. And shout out to y'all who comment on videos. I forgot, and I continue to forget his name. Antoine Powell Ryland, the Virginia Tech guy / North Carolina guy. Crazy production in college. I think 16 and a half sacks, and he had a lot of production in college. They just said he was short, small arms, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, he also got injured too. There are videos of draft analysts talking about him being a 3rd or 4th round pick. We got him super late. Let's see what he could do as well. Patrick Johnson has been working with Nolan Smith, but I thought about getting this guy 3 weeks ago. And training camp is today. They reported today. Their first practice is tomorrow, and he is a Philadelphia Eagle. So obviously, again, if Azeez missed time, if Uche missed time, if Nolan or Jalix missed time, hey, Nolan is coming into training camp with a hurt arm. Still ahead of schedule. He'll be A-okay. But this is a solid signing for the Eagles. Probably 1 year, $1 million. Same with Uche. Same with the Philly dog, Azeez Ojulari. But 3 weeks ago when he was released by the Cleveland Browns, I thought he would fit. He knows his role. And he plays his role well. The Browns have had a solid defense over the last couple years. The Rams won a Super Bowl when he was on that team. Again, how did he contribute? As a rotational piece. That's what he's always been. He's never came into the season as a starter anywhere. But he's filled in for big names. And he's played up to par. Obeezy is now a Philadelphia Eagle. I like it. I absolutely like it. I think overall he has 17 total sacks in his career. That's with the Rams as well. And the Browns, 30 years old, knows his role. I ain't mad at that at all. I think Brandon Lee Gowton wrote a report on it. Let's see what Brandon Lee Gowton has to say about the whole thing. Eagles sign veteran edge rusher ahead of trading camp. I don't think it's going to pull up on my screen, but I'm going to read the report. The Philadelphia Eagles are signing free agent veteran edge rusher Obo Abarako. Again, we're going to work with that name. According to an NFL report by Tom Pelissero, Obi played college football at Oklahoma before selected by the Los Angeles Rams with the 5th round pick, number 160 overall in 2018. After missing his rookie season due to a foot injury, Obi logged in 4.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 16 quarterback hits in 39 games played over the next 3 years. Super solid depth. Obi left LA after their Super Bowl win to join the Houston Texans, where he produced 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and 11 quarterback hits in 8 starts over 17 games. The performance earned him a 3-year, $19 million contract with the Browns. So again, Browns ain't a great organization, but he got a 3-year, $19 million contract with the Browns. So the Browns were signing up for a very solid role piece guy, and we're getting him for dirt cheap. And we're only hoping he fills the role for an Azeez Ojulari or a Joshua Uche if need be, because their upside is higher. Uche has 10 sacks in a season with the Patriots once. Azeez Ojulari was a third-round pick. Was a dog at Georgia. He just can't stay healthy. So the upside for Azeez and Uche is way higher than Obi. But if one of them don't live up to the hype, Obi was. You don't give somebody 3 years, $19 million if they're not contributing to your football team. And we got him, like I said, don't know the numbers, but most likely for a dirt cheap 1-year deal. In 30 games played over 2 seasons with the Browns, Obi posted 7.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, and 14 quarterback hits. Cleveland decided to cut him in late June, which our friends over at Dogs by Nature described as a surprising move. So even a Cleveland reporter didn't expect that to happen. Although it may be seen as a shocking move to some, there was always a possibility that the team could part ways with Obi this offseason due to his contract structure. The Browns freed up an extra $3.4 million in cap space. By doing so, we're able to add multiple other versatile pass rushers this offseason. So that's why he was cut a cap casualty. Obi now has a new home in Philly, but with the 30-year-old the 30-year-old actually make the Eagles' regular season roster? It's possible. The Birds aren't exactly loaded with proven edge rush talent. The team surprisingly has high hopes for the 2023 first-round pick Nolan Smith and 2024 third-rounder Jalix Hunt. Both of them showed exciting potential down the stretch last season. Behind them, though, the Eagles took 1-year free agent flyers on Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche to see if they can contribute to pass rush rotation. Obi finds himself in a similar boat to them, although he arguably a lower ceiling and higher floor option. Man, it's like Brandon Lee Gowton was reading my mind. Literally was saying this before I read it. Probably a higher floor than them two, but a lower ceiling. I ain't mad at it. Now, for those who rock with the channel, you already knew I went live around 12 o'clock. We talked a little training camp, good, bad, ugly, sad. We also talked about the Cowboys being ridiculous. Jerry Jones literally calling out Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons. It was hilarious. Go back and check that if you didn't see it. I just wanted to touch base with you live again since we got the news about the new pass rusher that the Eagles signed. We've been live for 13 minutes. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Shout out to the 240 people in here. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so whether we drop videos, go live, or shorts, you are here for the video. David Archer, member for 4 months. Howie, muscle up. Appreciate the love and support. Ace Boogie said he literally came in every time Slay went down. I think we're talking about Zaya Rogers, or we're talking about Ringo. Ringo has some snaps this season, but nowhere as much as Isaiah Rodgers. See, Trey said 2 lives today. Philly Mike going crazy. You already know. Once again, for those just tuning in, I'm going to show you the 2-minute video of what I said 3 weeks ago about the newest Eagle edge rusher. It's going to seem like I say he's a free agent and I want him, because I did want him. But don't get it twisted. He's not going to be a starter or a key rotational guy. He's just a perfect depth piece. Listen to the clip one more time before we head up out of here. Moving on to some interesting NFL news. Adam Schefter tweeted that the Browns released defensive end Agbo Akranakwo, if I'm saying it right. His nickname is Obi, so we gonna call him Obi. Anyways, he's been in the league for 6 years, played 3 years with the Rams, 1 year with the Texans, and the last 2 years with the Cleveland Browns. He just turned 30 in April and could be a very cheap veteran option for the Eagles to bring in during training camp to see how he competes with the rest of the defensive ends on the team. Now, we're not talking a starting position at all. He's been a backup player everywhere he's played, but as a rotational piece, he's been solid. 4.5 sacks in 2023 and 3 sacks in 2024, again, off the bench. By no means am I saying we got to go pick this guy up. However, Howie Roseman does like to add competition in July and August, and all we're talking about is competition and a possible depth piece. That is all. Mind you, he's probably dirt cheap. As for edge rushers, I'm perfectly fine with the guys we have. Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt as the two starters, with Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche coming off the bench to rotate in and play crucial snaps. However, who is behind them for? What happens if we have an injury? Last year, BG missed time, and so did Bryce Huff. That's two pass rushers who missed time. If something similar happens, not saying season ending, but missed time, you're going to need a little bit more depth than just Azeez Ojulari and Joshua Uche. So again, we're talking about cheap depth who's been in the league a while and knows his role, a rotation bench piece that comes in if necessary. Mar R said, just got here. What's going on? The Eagles signed veteran edge rusher ahead of training camp. Can't really say his name. It's Double O. We're going to call him OBZ. That's what he has on his Twitter. And he just tweeted, Go Birds. Once again, Super Bowl champion with the Rams in 2021. Had 7.5 sacks the last two seasons combined. However, he's good against the run. He's a very solid depth piece at the edge rushing position. So I love the move. The clip I showed you was when he got released 3 weeks ago, and I was saying that it makes sense for the Eagles to sign him before training camp. So 3 weeks ago, I thought that this was a possibility, and it is a possibility today. Howie Roseman's not done. He literally has like all right, not literally, because don't quote me on this, but shout out to On the Road to Victory with Jimmy. I think last time I saw him post something on Twitter, we have a decent amount of cap space. So there's still things that we could get done. And if Howie Roseman sees we're weak in any position, if he's really not liking what Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson are bringing, as Ace Boogie said, if Adoree Jackson and Kelee Ringo ain't really looking right, or even still, a veteran presence out there and Stephon Gilmore's out there. And he took $7 million to play with the Vikings last year, which means he'll take even less to play with the Eagles. $4 million, $3 million to get a veteran cornerback, just in case. I'm thinking Obi just signed for very cheap. I'm guessing 1 or 2 mil for 1 year. Double O sounds good to me, Jay. That definitely could be a Vic Fangio call. Uche has the high ceiling, but he's a little light. This, again, solid depth piece. Look at some of the players who contributed down the stretch. Thomas Booker got some PT in the playoffs. Ajomo, a 7th round pick, contributed. Oren Burke. When we signed Oren Burke, everybody was like, bruh, he's a special teamer. Bruh, he's not going to make the roster. Bruh this, bruh that. Oren Burke in the Rams game, the Commanders game, and the Super Bowl contributed. Oren Burke, a backup linebacker for the Niners, special team ace. Oh, he's probably going to be just a special teamer and or not even make the roster, blah, 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 blah. And he was just a special teamer until Nakobe Dean went down. But Super Bowl championship teams are not just built top heavy. You got to have help, depth, bodies. You need guys that come off the practice squad and be able to contribute. You need that type of roster, and Howie knows it. Remember this guy's name, because I'm going to say this right here, right now. He will make the roster. He probably will be the last pass rusher to make the roster, but he will make it. And at one time, he's going to either get a sack or a big play on third down, or even have to come in for a game or two due to some nagging injury somewhere, this, that, and third. And when he does that, you're going to see that Howie Roseman done it again. 2 lives a day. I got to take my son would have been wanting to go swimming all day, so we going to go hit the pool a little bit. Got some work I got to do. I love y'all to death. If you want to hear about the sneaky D tackle guy we got from the UFL, Jerry Jones literally calling out Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott, plus some training camp talk. Go watch the first stream I did around 12 for about an hour. Antoine Powell Ryland will make the roster watch. It might just be that. It might just, again, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Azeez Ojulari, Joshua Uche, Antoine Powell, 6. If you keep 6 pass rushers, it's the 4 we talked about, Antoine Powell Ryland, and this guy. But remember this guy. With all that being said, I love y'all to death. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the videos. I'll catch y'all on another video. We out.